Hello, everybody, on a Saturday. It is fight day, everybody, and we can't be happier to be giving you our rundown of the day. I am the rocker, Ray Highclack. Next to me is the amazing bearded wonder, Tim Danko. Timmy, how you doing, pal?
All right, this is a good time for me to mention once again that I'm looking for Ray's replacement. Dude, this is why. Why do you do this to me? You sort of give me a migraine headache right out the rip.
Because I'm funny. That's why.
That's what it is?
Tickle your migraine bone.
Migraine bone. Yeah, sure. That's what it is. I'm fine, Ray. We're doing this now. Going up to the fight. Fight start a couple hours. That's cool, man. Dude, I'm so excited for these fights. Obviously, dude, this card is nuts. You know what's so great? I mean, they stacked this card a lot because, the last pay-per-view had a bunch of fights fall off of it. Dude, as of right now, it's 3:00. The fight started at 5. I just looked. As of now, every fight is on.
I checked that as well.
Yeah.
I made sure to see if we had anything fall out weight-wise even. And luckily,
almost everyone made weight. Almost.
I mean, if they missed weight by a little bit, I'm not going to be pissed. It's not like that 11.5-pound motherfucker is fucking fighting this weekend.
Well, the guy who missed weight is Askar Askarov, and he's fighting. Him and Benavidez are trying to get a title shot again.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure Benavidez is pissed. This happens to Benavidez a lot. Like the first title fight against Figueiredo, he missed weight by a lot. And then Figueiredo's been fine since then. The last three fights then after that. But I kind of feel bad for Benavidez. Like I said, it's not like the guy won't get a title shot because he missed weight by 1.5 pounds if he beats him. So, it's a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I hope Benavidez comes out of this a little bit better than he did against Figueiredo. I think this is his first fight back, since he lost to Joseph.
It is. What?
So, I mean, hopefully, Megan O'Leary should be also a big motivation to win.
She's working.
Is she going to be working tonight?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, I know. I think last time she didn't, but she is working. She said it's better for her. She freaks out less because she's working. She has to be professional, or she has to be a bit. I mean, we can expect it, Listen, if she has to interview him after the fight and he wins, you don't have to pretend like you're not married. I mean, you do a little bit, right? But we all know, most people know, UFC fans are aware of this. So, yeah, call him, honey. Hey, honey, you won. Good job. Big kiss on the sweaty forehead.
I want to know, if that is, I would love to actually interview Megan O'Leary, and half of my questions would just be about being married to a UFC fighter and working in the business too.
Yeah, I mean, they met through the UFC, right? Because she's been there a long time. Yeah.
Oh shit, Megan O'Leary, she was always and I'll admit this, and when they would do the UFC stuff, and I think it was UFC 3, for the UFC minutes that she would do for the game. Every time just jaw dropped because that chick is she's a beautiful woman. I'm gonna say that. And Benavidez is just a savage of a human being, so he deserves that. But it's nice to see somebody go, I'm going inside the business now.
She I was gonna say, she's probably hit on by half the fighters in the UFC, so good for Benavidez.
Probably. Just be hey man, you want a 125er or you 185? What's going on? You want to go up the weight classes, Conor McGregor?
It's the little dude. She's a little lady, so that makes sense.
Is she? I thought she was maybe 5'8". She looks 5'8". Really?
Well, she wears heels a lot of times, doesn't she?
This is
I don't know. Laura Sanko's really tall. Laura Sanko's 5'9". I think. I don't know. She used to fight. Did you know that Laura Senko was a fighter?
No.
Yeah, she was.
Good for her for getting in. That's something I've liked over the past decade now. I think that was 2000 and I would say 2011, 2012 is when you started having fighters commentating on a regular basis. When you had Kenny Florian, Brian Stan, who else? DC sort of got into it when he was towards the end of his light heavyweight career. I like the fact that the UFC is doing that for fighters because you need those guys a lot more than just like say a John Anik or a Rogan, because like they have that experience of being in the actual like thing. And I'm going to say this. I want Dominic Cruz in the booth, win, lose, or draw tonight. If he wins this fight, I want him doing commentating, because I just want to see how like out of it he'll be if he gets knocked out or one of those kind of things. Big business, Ray. Let me put on my business hat.
No, I don't want him. I don't want the entire main card to be Dominic Cruz bitching about the referee.
I do, and I want it to be Keith Peterson. Okay,
it's not going to be Keith Peterson. Did you see that? He requested not Keith Peterson.
I have this in our overlays. This is the exact quote. Honest to God, I don't care who referees the fight as long as it's not Keith Peterson.
Dude, again, if you don't know, Dominic Cruz still blames, as a true professional. Dude, he's a champion, act like a champion. Nope, he's still blaming his last loss to a very tough Henry Cejudo that was going to beat him anyway. No, but actually, he did beat him. We talked about this a million times. His face hit the canvas. All right, it was a good stoppage. I think every ref in the UFC would have made that stoppage. All right, but no, because he thinks that Keith Peterson's an alcoholic, or maybe he is. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. He's a great referee, and yeah, and then he had to talk shit. He's like, "Oh, he smells like alcohol and cigarettes." That's why Ray likes to call him Alcohol and Cigarettes Peterson.
That's a hero of mine. Alcohol and cigarettes, sir.
Me too. I've always loved Keith Peterson, man. I always say Keith Peterson. Like, if he had a battle royale of all the refs, I'd pick Keith Peterson. He's the smallest, but I don't care. Like, I got
he's scrappy though.
That guy. Yeah, look at that guy. But
he's a wiry chap, really.
He still says he didn't lose to Cejudo. It was all Keith Peterson's fault. So he said he just doesn't want Keith Peterson to ref the fight, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I think we said last episode, title fights you can negotiate your ref. It's part of their negotiation, I'm pretty sure, which was weird because that was a title fight, his last fight. So if he had a problem with Keith Peterson, he should have put a kibosh on him being the ref. Anyway, point is, he asked the commission in a non-title fight if he could request Keith Peterson not be a ref, and that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Because the commission could say no, but he's been fighting for a long time. He was a champion for a long time. So I'm like, if it's not a big deal, which it probably isn't, just like, okay, let's just put Keith on the other ones. And there's usually 3 or 4 refs there, so it won't be a problem at all. So if a guy really requested and he's very adamant about it, just be like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, if he was the only ref, it'd be different, but he's not.
Agreed. I mean, but like, to me, you get a guy like Keith Peterson who, I mean, he has not made as egregious of errors as, say, my love in life, my companion, a man who I look up or look down upon instead of up, none other than Chris Tioni. He can go F a D, but I love Keith Peterson because he's actually, for me, he's one of the better referees. He's like a Mills Lane. You know what I'm saying? He's like a Mills Lane almost.
Mills Lane with tattoos, with neck tats.
He's got like the gruff voice. He'll get in there when the time is right. He don't give a fuck. Huh?
I like when he does women fights because he goes, "Ma'am, you ready? Ma'am, you ready?" And it just sounds weird for some reason. Like, it's the correct thing to say if he says, "Sure, you're ready," right? It's just weird to say, "Ma'am, you're." I don't know. Sounds weird. Anyway, Laura Senko was a 4-1 amateur and a 1-0 professional. She fought in 2013 in Invicta, but she only had the one pro fight. Yeah,
but I mean, as long as she's got the chop, and she has chops, that's one thing.
Submissions, man. She's subbing everybody in this record too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I knew that. I knew she was.
Is she a black belt or is she?
Well, I know she's a big grappler. I don't know if she's a black belt. She may be. Very well, maybe. I don't know.
I like that. Like I said, though, I like the fact that they actually do that stuff for fighters if they want to take the commentator route, or because I mean, and to be honest with you, and this is going to sound sexist, so let me again put on my big business hat here.
I was going to say this quickly. Laura Senko does do. She did LFA before. She does commentary for LFA now.
Okay.
She was doing I don't know if that's since Pat Miletich has been gone, or maybe she did it when he was there. I don't know. But the last LFA fight I watched was the Nick Brown fight, and that was after Pat Miletich was fired, but she was doing commentary. She's good. She knows what she's talking about.
Well, I was about to say, I think, honestly, MMA is the one place where, like, female interviewers and female commentators can be a good thing. Boxing as well, combat sports, because like if you watch the NFL, you watch a lot of sports that are primarily male dominated. Sometimes having like a female like commentator, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because I feel like they don't understand it. But in boxing and like any other form of combat sport, I feel because that is such a wide swath umbrella kind of thing where there is real diversity outside of just basically dudes. It's one of those things where they thrive more because they've had that experience. I don't think it's like a woman with football doesn't work.
What are you talking about? All right, number one, you're sexist. All right, number two, are you talking about business. Are you talking about play-by-play or color commentary?
Play-by-play and color commentary.
Here's the thing about what do most play-by-play guys weren't fighters or athletes. Weren't athletes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And sometimes they can be shit.
So what does it matter if it's a man or a woman? Because they both did not play the sport professionally. That's a straight sexist. Straight up sexist.
Well, no, that's just it's big business.
Whatever, man. Sexist. Anyway, no, there's some great. I don't remember their names specifically, but I remember there's a lot of that do college football that are great. They do a great job. And what was I thinking of? As far as color commentating football, that makes sense, right? Because no woman played in the NFL or played college football, at least more than a kicker. But basketball, Doris Burke does NBA games now, and she's awesome. I mean, she used to do sideline reporting.
That's the sport I can see because of the fact that we've had the WNBA for so long. Yeah, that's
right.
That's understandable.
She was a coach,
but what
she
I'm
worked
saying
as a sideline reporter for a long time. But she went in and said, "Hey, I've been a sideline reporter for a long time. I know about basketball. Why can't I do this job?" And they said, "That's a good point." So they gave her the job. She's good at it. She's good at it. She knows what she's talking about.
That is a sport.
But the thing is, I haven't heard anyone. Like all the women that do that sport, they absolutely know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Why would you think they didn't? Of course they do. They all do.
But I'm talking about like mostly football though. Like if you're really looking at a sport where it's
what about Al Michaels knows about football from just watching football. He wasn't an NFL player.
But he's been around it his entire life. Those women have been rattling around those pots and pans all day, doing nothing.
Okay. Just so you know, Ray Heckler's straight sexist. This is what this is. This is this Ray Heckler being straight sexist. That's it. That's all it is. Okay. And I'm yelling at him for it because it's stupid and he's wrong and it's sexist. Okay, there you go. Moving on.
Well, sometimes though in life you have to get the roast, and if you're watching football.
Are you against female referees too? Probably.
No, as long as they're properly trained. That's a referee is different than like a commentator or something like that. You have to be trained in that way. I mean, you were probably trained because you also play baseball, that kind of stuff. You understand it. Somebody who referees, I've always been sympathetic for referees, regardless of sex, gender, whatever you want to think about.
Well, what I know about baseball, I didn't learn from playing it. I'll tell you that much. I learned from umpire. I umpired much more than I ever played. So, so that's what I think. I mean, like women didn't play football. How can they ref football? I'm like, dude, how do you know these guys play football? You don't, man.
Yeah,
you don't. I've done baseball for a long time. I didn't play baseball since past 14. Right? Yeah. I've done a whole lot, and I wasn't good at it. I was terrible at it. I did a lot more I've umpired a whole lot more baseball games than I ever played. So,
yeah. Umpire or refereeing any kind of sport really is, no pun intended, it's a hands-on way to learn the sport. It's learn every little thing and do every kind of little way that you possibly can.
What I think's interesting, I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
What I think's interesting is that there are a handful of female NFL refs and NBA refs. There's no umpires in Major League Baseball that are women. There hasn't been one.
There hasn't been one?
No. And apparently there's not very many that get to like AAA ever. So I don't know if that's you'd have to look at the enrollment because and it's a little bit different in baseball. There's like 2 schools you can go to in Florida, and then from those 2 schools you either get into the minor league program or you don't. I don't know what the numbers are as far as women in those programs. I don't know how many go to even try to become umpires. Maybe not many. I don't know.
Probably not.
It could just be that. It's probably just that, Yeah, from what I hear, the way to become a referee in NFL and NBA is a bit different than baseball. I don't know how it is. I just know how it is in baseball, and it's you have 2 schools in Florida you have to go to, then hope they pick you for one of their spots in the minor league program. You have to work your way up. But if you don't get in the minor league program, you're screwed. You can do college and stuff, but you're probably not going to get back in.
I will say that like from my experience and like witnessing the high level refereeing in hockey, and here seeing training videos for the upper levels and stuff like that. Believe it or not, the biggest thing with NHL and even the minor league system in hockey is they test your skating acumen more than they do anything else, because you got guys moving around at 20 miles an hour, and anything can go wrong at that point, really, when you're dealing with a human demo derby. But like that's the one thing that always I wish I would have been a better skater, so I could have raised up that rank a little bit more. I was more of just a straightforward, head up and like shoulders at least ready to be going. But like I was never a finesse guy in hockey. I was more a bruiser, see if I can get in, go there. And the guys that are NHL and women who are NHL referees, because there are a few women in the NHL, I believe, that are at least lines people for the NHL. They the skating portion of their tests and everything are insane. Like the stuff you see in NHL All-Star Game skills competition stuff, that's the stuff that they have to go through to get to be a referee in the upper level.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure they make them like spin around with a hockey stick 8 times and then go through cones.
Cones, definitely. Cone thing is that's actually a real thing we would do in practice.
I know, I'm sure
work on our feet.
Yeah, that's the one unique thing about hockey to being a ref in other sports is that you have to know how to skate. You have to know how to skate. You have to know how to skate well.
Yeah.
You know what though? You say you're not a great skater. If you wanted to do high school hockey, they take you. I'm sure there's not that many people. I'm sure they take you. As long as you know how to skate. Period.
Oh yeah. It's you at the lower levels. It's pretty much just about rules at that point. Because you gotta, you gotta teach the younger generation how to play, do all that kind of stuff, and call them on stuff early on, like mites and everything. My favorite refereeing story I have is I was in Cleveland Heights, right by the Grog Shop. For those people who know where that is, and I was refereeing. It was either mites or squirts. And all of a sudden I hear the crowd like start to like get all like, hey, what the blah? And I look around and there's these 2 8-year-olds just in a fist fight, like, beating the shit out of each other. So I pull them. It was kind of like, you ever watch those old movies with like the kids were cowboys and all that kind of stuff, like the little kids and like they're drinking milk instead of like beer and all that. I take 2 of these kids by their collars, set them by me, and go, hold on, roughing both of you. And I just like put them in the penalty box and be like, you can't fight, dude. Like, this is your only warning. You're 8 years old. Okay, I get it, but we need to go.
That's funny. That's what we see on TV. Yeah.
Dude, this was like one of those like Facebook videos that would go viral and like have the Larry David music behind it, just like the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They were rolling around too. They looked kind of like an MMA fight a little bit because the one kid had side control and was like kind of getting into him.
That's funny.
Like, oh.
Well, the little kids, man, if they don't get a lot of coaching, they just mimic what they see on television, right? I told you about the time where I trucked a catcher in Little League because I thought that you could do that, and I got thrown out, which I should have. As an umpire now, I'm like, I can't believe I did that, right? Because I just didn't know. I didn't know. I should
on your own team to win too, Pete Rose. Jesus Christ,
can't do that either. But one of my favorite things about when I were at the younger kids is that I don't know, you don't really get credit for it, but you're also coaching them. I know it's a very umpire thing to say, but it is. You're also coaching them because a lot of times like their coaches don't know the rules very well. And like, I don't know how many times I've had to teach kids Bach rules. A lot. Because every time I do it, I tell them what they're doing wrong. And sometimes the coach is like, what? And I teach the coach too. It happens all the time. You don't get credit for it. I don't get credit for being a coach. but it's not. But you have to know the rules, and somebody does, and that's just your part of it. And I don't know. I'm too fat this year to do baseball. I probably won't because I have to buy all new clothes. I'm so fat.
I was about to say you could just go behind home plate. Can't you call all-time home plate umpire, or do you have to be like
most of the games I
fieldsman
do?
too?
Most of the games I do, especially a pony league, I do it all by myself, which means I mean, you try to do the most runnings you possibly can. But even like when I was in better shape, I couldn't. Like I'm not going to be able to run in a pony league field from home plate all the way to second and then all the way back. So you just do angles.
Okay.
So I'm just if the ball's hit the shortstop, I take my mask off and I run up towards the pitcher ish, try to get that best angle, and then I stop and then try to get the best angle. It's angle over distance. They tell you all the time, especially if you're by yourself, right? And I say it all the time, like a pre-game meetings. I'm like, dude, I'm the only one here. I'm gonna try my best. All right, I'm gonna try my best, but there's gonna be times that I'm not gonna have a great angle. There's gonna be times that you have a better angle than me, and you might be mad at me for something. But guess what? I'm the one that makes the decision, and all I can do is do my best.
Yeah,
right. And more often than not, they're okay with that. That they understand that.
Yeah. And I kind of wish there were coaching meetings for hockey and referees where that was kind of a thing we do. Most of the time,
They don't do that.
No. Usually,
it's weird.
when you referee hockey, it's
you don't talk to the coaches.
We don't even talk to the I've never talked to the coaches outside of being at the benches. Usually that's like the time to do it. But I think pre-game would be a way easier way to kind of, hey, do you have any problem kids? Do you have any kids that are a little bit more violent than they should be? I know they're 12, but you want to catch this shit early, and then kind of get to know the coaches as well. Usually it's just we sit in the referee's locker room, kind of bullshit with each other, talk about what's going on, look at maybe a roster if we have it. And then you just go out on the ice and freeze your dick off for half an hour and have a good time.
Well, you do it at home plate before every baseball game. And one of the reasons you do it is because ground rules are a thing. And in high school, you have to keep track of the lineups. Like you're that guy. You have to make sure that all the substitutions are legal, which is what I hated about high school because it's another thing I had to worry about. And I had to get my pencil out and this piece of paper. And I'm like, okay, who's going in for who and whatever. But ground rules are a big thing because sometimes fields have weird ground rules, so you have to go over those. Malvern High School has a power line running through the field, so you have to go over that.
What?
Yeah, they just play it just play it off of there, like it's not there. So if it hits it and you catch it, he's out.
It's not like Tropicana Field.
No, it's not at all. No, they're like, no, just play it like it's not there. I'm like, okay. I never seen a ball. I haven't seen a ball hit it. It goes like from behind first base to like right center. So it's not really crazy. I mean, not right center. Yeah, right center.
Interesting.
It's not really crazy, but yeah, it's weird when you get there. Like, are you serious about this power line going through the middle of the field? Like, yeah, that's a thing.
That would be. There's a few rinks in Cleveland that like they're just so. My favorite one ever is, and you want to talk about getting distracted with ADD, Shaker Heights Ice Rink. They have a silver insulated line kind of like ceiling above the actual ice surface. So like when I was not on my meds or during a game or whatever, I'd just be looking up at the like shiny ceiling, just completely being like, ooh, that's pretty, and not really paying attention, and like pucks would go off your head and shit like that. But yeah, that one. And then oh man, there used to be one Euclid's a very like ghetto-esque rink, but it's so wonderful to play in because it's an old barn. It's just cool. Like an old silo kind of thing. It looks like you could park the Goodyear blimp inside of it, and it would come out the other side.
Indian Valley High School here, which I've done a lot of their games and a lot of games on their field. The only reason I really want to do games this year is because they're getting turf in their infield, and I've never done a game on turf before. So
that would be interesting.
Yeah, so I'm excited to eventually someday do some games there, either Summer League or Class A. I'm probably not going to get my high school license back just because it's a pain in the butt and it's not really worth it. I don't know. But Yeah, I haven't done. I've only like done a couple games on like the clay, like the real like clay dirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's annoying because it's on your shit forever. It's hard to get off of your shit.
I can
Especially
imagine.
when you have to wear, the pants I have to wear. I have to wear dress pants. It's like the nicest pair of pants I own are my umpire pants. My nicest pair of pants, the pants I wear standing in the dirt.
Oh God, yeah, that would be That's the nice part about ice; it melts off and it just is wet. Like that's the only nice part.
Well, we talked about this before too. Like, I'm really happy that we don't have to wear those zebra suits for baseball. We never had in baseball. I never had, but when I'm thinking about doing other sports, I'm like, those damn shirts, man. Those are ugly.
I got mine upstairs. Man. I have mine up in my room, and it's
at least the NBA's gotten away from it with basketball. They have like a gray and blue shirt they wear now. Mm-hmm. But high school, they still wear the stripes. The stripes they suck.
Yeah, they're not slimming. They may, especially
they are vertical stripes. I can figured out my difference between vertical and horizontal for a second. Vertical stripes, but they still not. They're probably not slimming. They don't look good on anybody. No one's ever looked good in one of those shirts ever.
No. And wearing a helmet, like you feel even weirder because it's just like and my pants usually were like CCM like just basic CCM slacks. Like that was all they were. CCM is a brand of hockey equipment. But just black slacks and my skates and knee pads and a cup underneath. Like that was all I would ever wear. Just to make sure the shin guards were to make sure that I didn't get fucked up from because little kids, I will say this, that I hated in refereeing hockey all the time because my shins would be fucking beat up at the end of like a mic game because they're little kids. So they're just swinging the pot stick every willy-nilly way. And all of a sudden it'll hit you right in the tip of the dick like a fucking front kick. And you're like, no, why?
Did you wear a cup?
Yeah. But it would still you get a carbon fiber stick to the balls. It comes quick.
No, I'm sure. Yeah. No, I mean, even when I'm hit with a baseball in the cup. Yeah. However, I don't wear them in the field. I only wear it when almost
I would
always.
Hate to get hit in the balls with a fucking baseball.
Yeah, dude, getting hit. Dude, like I said, I have this lump on my about right above my rib cage below my collarbone that I've had since 2016 from getting hit by a ball that just snuck in between my mask and my chest protector. And it was also the hardest throwing dude I've ever had. He really was. Like he had to throw mid-80s. He had to. Just eye test. He had to. He threw hard, really hard. And he hit me got one. It was actually tipped by a wooden bat because he was going for a bunt. This was Class A, which is like semi-pro. But this kid was in college. He's a college player. So it barely hits his bat and hits me right, boom, square. And everyone knew it got me. And like, you good, Blue? I'm like, yep, I'm fine. Everyone knew it got me. But the game was almost over. So like 20 minutes after that happened, that it really started to hurt. Yeah. But I still have a lump. I can still feel it to this day. Yeah, I never got paid for that game, which I'm still angry about.
What?
Yeah, right.
Boo to whoever didn't pay you. That's bullshit. While you're laying there like Peter Griffin going,
pretty much. I mean, I pretended like it didn't hurt, but everybody knew it got me. So, but the thing is, it didn't really start hurting until like 20 minutes later. So I just I'm like, let's just go, get this over with. So, because the game was almost over at that point anyway.
I want to ask you this question since we're still kind of on the officiating tip here. Do you know? Because I'll admit, I only know MMA and combat sports judges or referees, like their names. I don't know NFL referees. I don't know NHL referees, NBA referees. I really don't know at all. But like MMA and combat sports judges, I know who they are. It's a weird thing where you I don't know if it's just because you see the ones over and over again.
Yeah. That, and they always say their name before every single fight. They show you who it is.
Yeah.
And they say their name. They show their face and they say their name. So well, it makes a lot of sense why you know them, because they do it a little bit in football. They don't do it over and over again in the broadcast. The only guy you see is all the time is the head referee. Mm-hmm. And I remember faces, but I can't really remember all their names. I remember Gene Steratore, but he's retired now. In baseball, Joe West and Angel Hernandez are the guys everybody remembers because those are the guys that people talk the most shit about. Joe West, this is taking a joke from the Dan Le Batard show, but looks like a baked potato. He does. You look at him, he does look a baked potato. But he's been around forever. And Angel Hernandez is the guy that I when there's an Angel Hernandez game, I will watch Angel Hernandez behind the plate no matter who it is, because like, number one, he probably is the worst, but also he's the one that gets the most angry about it, which makes him the best. Because every time they say something to him, he freaks out. He has like no fuse. He just goes from 0 to 100, and he's probably not that great at it. They say I think he's when he's on the bases, he has more calls overturned than anybody.
Really?
Yeah. And he sued baseball from not letting him be a crew chief or do playoffs because he said it had something to do with race.
Oh, God.
So he sued. He dropped the suit because they started letting him do playoff games. But when people
I'm gonna have to pay attention to this
anonymous surveys. Season. They do those anonymous surveys, anonymous surveys with players, and they all say that he's the worst.
That's funny. And he gets mad about it and takes pride in his shittiness. I love it.
Yeah, he is, like I said, he has the shortest fuse. He does not give you a shot. You get mad at Angel Hernandez, even if he is wrong, you can't. He throws people out constantly, and it's actually hilarious. That's why I like watching him, because always something crazy is going to happen when Angel Hernandez is behind the plate.
Who is the umpire that Robbie Alomar spit on? I can't remember.
I don't remember his name.
But like, you don't see that kind of stuff anymore either, which is kind of sad because it gave a little bit more fun to the sport, just having bad boys just like disrespecting authority like that.
Well, I didn't like the spitting, obviously, but I really think, just major league, right? Because amateur baseball, it shouldn't be part of the game. Players yelling at umpires and whatnot. But professional is different. And I think it's fun when you have a guy sprinting out in the field and screaming at an umpire. When you're at the game, that's fun. And it's kind of taking that away a bit. It happens still, but not nearly as much, because strike zone is still a thing for now.
I think it was the new coach of the Pittsburgh Pirates or Clint Hurdle got thrown out and just threw the biggest fit. This was like 2 years ago, I think. And
once they get thrown out, they're already thrown out. So yeah, that's usually what happens.
That's the one thing I like about baseball more than I do any other sport is like when the manager gets completely just ejected and he goes off. It's the best feeling in the world to watch that guy, because it's your guy and he cares about his team and shit. But you're like, yeah, that's how that umpire deserves. Like, that's exactly what that fucker deserves.
I've never done like a hard toss of somebody. I've tossed people, but not like a big finger, real loud, because I don't need to, and I don't try to make it about me, so I never do that. However, part of me kind of wishes that like there was a game that was heavily attended and there's a coach and I could just go, and people start booing me or whatever, or cheering depending on what happens. But it doesn't happen that way. But I don't want it to. Every time I throw somebody out, I'm just like, hey, you're done. You got to go. Just like a little. You're done.
Yeah, man. That's the one thing. Like there's many things in life that I will let people bitch about, but refereeing and all that kind of stuff, I just, if there's an entertaining moment with a coach on any sporting event, I'm all in, bro. But
professional sports,
like,
for sure.
When people get pissed.
I think it's funny. It's often hilarious.
But it's just because you know what those guys go through.
Yeah.
You understand where they're coming from, and they're human and they make mistakes, unlike Chris Taione, who's just garbage.
But in that case, they're all getting paid, and Major League Baseball umpires make pretty good salaries. I think the lowest now makes like 80 or 90. That's the new guy makes like 80 or 90 with vacation. They get vacation weeks. Yeah. And they take vacations as a crew, I think, because they work on a crew. But what else? And per diem, they get per diems, and baseball pays for other stuff, right? It's not like tennis where you have to pay to get there and stuff, and then only if you win. They pay for they have per diems, and they pay for their travel and their rooms, and then they get paid their salary. So, and it's 6 months out of the year, so
that's nice.
Except they're completely, it sounds awesome. Like, they're completely gone for 6 months, but if they have families, but the other few months they're home. So
yeah, that's fun. That sounds like, I don't know what a NHL referee
But the most I think they make like 400 is like the top guys make like 400,000.
Oh, I would imagine, especially if you've been tenured, you've been there long enough, you're familiar with all the teams and all that kind of stuff. You deserve that money.
Also, man, I mean, it has to be rough because I could tell you how many people go to that school every year. Those two schools. I mean, even if you get into the minor league program, you're talking about it's like 90. There's 90 MLB umpires. That's not many.
I was thinking a lot less. I was thinking like maybe 60.
Well, you have to do 15 games times 4 would be 70. There's like 70.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I was doing bad math. Yeah, because if there's 15 games going, 15 games going on, there'd be 60 umpires. So I think, and there's a couple extra crews. So yeah, it's probably like 70. Yeah, I messed that number up. You're right. I messed that number up. I was doing bad math. We need to start talking about fights.
Well, actually, I was about to throw that in. Let's talk about this. Let me bring it.
You bring the fights up because I have something else.
It's
MMA, but yeah, Texas is opening up. And Dana White wants to go tomorrow. He's going hard.
Hold on. I need to bring him back in. Big Business Ray definitely approves. I am all for this move to bring to Texas. I mean, Tesla's going there. Joe Rogan is right there.
What else did I see? Cody Garbrandt's moving to Texas.
I might be going to Texas in 3 years. Who knows? Thinking about it.
Go right now.
I don't have the money, but I'm trying to. I got a new job, so
yeah. My thing is I'm going to run out of money by then. That's the problem.
Well, that's what I'm hoping to have at least like 20 grand before I go down there. Like that's my goal is to work for about 20 grand in my bank account and then just tell everybody sayonara and head south. That'd be my goal.
Yeah, that's going to be the place. I'm pretty sure. I mean, and the thing is, it's a cool place. Austin's a cool town. Texas is a cool place. Anyway, so I don't know what the laws are exactly in Texas, but they said they're opening it up. I don't know if they're saying, hey, you can have as many fans as you want. Dana White says we're going to be first. We're going to be the first one to have full crowds. I'm like, okay. Apparently, he's talking about combat sports because the Mavericks, Spurs, and Rockets are already playing right now, right? So if they wanted to have full crowds, they could, but I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they are right now. So the thing is, you have to wait for them.
I actually know. I've been following this in Texas. The governor has lifted not only the mask mandate on the state completely. Places like corporations like Walmart and all the big corporations are still going to have a mask mandate. That's their right to do that. But you can also bars, restaurants, sporting facilities, I believe, concert venues, all opened up to 100%.
But I mean, it's up to the teams themselves, the Mavericks, the Rockets, the Spurs, to decide what they're doing. Have you heard what they're doing yet?
I have not. Okay. I was watching the Rockets game the other night, and they didn't seem to have an audience on Wednesday. So,
well, also the Rockets are terrible right now.
Hey,
that makes sense. They are. I'm just saying they got rid of everybody, so they're in a rebuilding phase. They're not very good, so not a lot of people are going to be showing up to games. I'm just saying.
Hopefully, they don't pull a Houston Astro and start with the Cavs cheating to win the NBA title.
I don't really know how you would cheat like that in basketball, but I'm sure
neither do I.
So yeah, it depends on those arenas and what they want to do in those cities, right? Apparently Dana White, like the day of, he already called Dallas, and Dallas is like, "Now we're good." Because he asked, he's like, "Hey, can we do a show there and fill the place up?" And they're like, "No." So he said he's going to go to Houston next, right? After Houston, it's probably going to be Austin and San Antonio. So what I'm hoping UFC 260 is like in El Paso. The only city that will take them.
They're on like an Indian reservation in at a casino there.
Hey man, they may do that. I mean, listen, even if they go to a small arena, like they have like shows, they have like 7,000-8,000 or less. They've had less than that, and like recently, last few years, in some of those smaller shows. So even if they can get that for UFC 260 somewhere, that'd be awesome compared to what they're doing. So if they can go to like a college arena, which they've done a lot, or I'm sure in Texas, there's tons of arenas that could accommodate them.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sure they'll give it a shot. I mean, he has a lot of places to call. I'm sure he'll get a yes from somebody.
Wouldn't it be awesome if all of a sudden they were like, fuck it, we're going to go play.
Back to Alabama, that small town in Alabama. What's it called?
Dothan?
Dothan,
USC
Alabama.
12.
We're going back. They've owed that town a UFC card for a long time. I know it wasn't a Zuffa card, but I think they should go back there.
I think they should do a fight night. I don't even think the Civic Auditorium even still runs. I think because a lot of those like civic arenas and stuff like that, they don't even exist. It's all just big mega like stuff. I though would love all of a sudden they make the announcement, fuck it, we're going to West Texas State football stadium. And like that's where they do their first football stadium, but it's like 1,500 people in the stands and then like 2,000 on the fucking field.
No, yeah, I wanted to do this next card at UTEP. That is
Brigham Young University. Why not?
Well,
nobody's saying anything because I'm aware, but there's still Mormons don't give a shit. They don't care.
Okay. Well, let's watch that documentary on Netflix, Murder Among Mormons. That dude who started bombing people because he was making fake documents and people are figuring it out. So he started bombing people to death.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It just came out like last week.
Interesting.
Week. Yeah.
Check that out, man.
Anyway, so yeah, that should be interesting. I mean, things are starting to open up a bit. I don't think Texas is actually the only state. I think Montana did this too.
Mm-hmm. But there's I think 14 states that are doing it right now.
Okay.
Lifting.
I'm good. I'm patient. But the thing is, if I had my vaccine now, I'd probably want to go to Texas and just see anything I can. I go to a concert. I go to, but I'm like, I'll wait till I get my vaccine.
Yeah, me too. I'm waiting until they've announced in our area that there's going to be a mass vaccination site that's going to be doing, I think it's like 5,000-6,000 vaccinations a day, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And it's going to be at the Wolstein Center. And I'm going to look to go there and get my vaccine so I can just get this over with, man. Like, even if I had it back, like I think I did 2 years ago or a year ago. I want to be able to do things again. I'm tired of not being able to do things. And we're seeing a lot of like Live Nation is saying that they're possibly looking into a vaccination history / like test thing where you have to test positive or test negative within 3 weeks of the show. So all those kind of things. I just want to go back to also seeing pro wrestling, dude. Like I want to get this vaccine just so I can go to wrestling shows again and go to local MMA shows. Like those are the only things I really want to go to.
No way they're going to make you show your vaccination card at the local wrestling show.
You obviously do not know the awesomeness that is John Thorne and AIW. They would absolutely make us get this vaccine because they know they're going to miss out on monthly fucking people coming in for fans and shit. So I want to, man. That's the one thing I miss.
It's a whole another argument, right? It's just, what if you have to show people a vaccination card to get it? That's weird.
It is.
That's really weird. I know it's unprecedented times, but that's weird. I'm not saying yes or no, but it doesn't sound awesome. But I mean, I'd do it. But I can see a lot of people not being into it. I understand that completely.
I hate to say I've kind of given up, but I've kind of given up on the idea of like normal without the vaccine kind of thing. You know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's one of those things, man. I want to go to a live sporting event again. I want to be able to, like I said, watch wrestling. My MMA, I want to go to a UFC show. I want to be able to go to a fucking UFC show, and I'll get vaccinated just for that at this point.
Yeah. And if they start bringing them around, I'm definitely gonna try to go. I probably, just because we've been so hungry for it, I probably will travel for it a little bit, depending on where it is.
Speaking of local MMA shows, I wanted to give a shout out real quick. Let me bring up the fighter or the post here. Revolution Fight and Fitness, George Comer and the boys. They went 2-0. They went 2-0 at the combat or the Ohio Combat League, the OCL.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy Logan Urban got his victory yesterday. They fought yesterday with, and then also Alonzo Turner as well got a victory for Revolution. So congratulations to those guys, man.
Good job, guys. We need to have Logan on, but Ray says no. Let me talk to him, and he won't do it. So eventually, I'm just gonna bypass you and just do it on my own.
I mean, if you want to be the booker, I am perfect with that, sir.
Well, you told me to wait. You told me to go. I'll get a hold of him. No, especially after this last fight. Yeah, Ohio Combat League down in Columbus, I believe, is doing fights, so that's good. I don't know how they've been going, but that's the one place in Ohio that's been doing fights. So,
yeah, and I'm glad to see that. There is local MMA or Ohio or statewide MMA, at least on a couple cities.
Yeah.
And actually, what you said?
I said I hope that happens because our buddy Andrew Law, I will try to go to all of his fights, and he hasn't fought since 2019. He's planning on trying to get one in this year at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to work with our other buddy Gene Walker now. So Gene's probably going to look anywhere in the country for him to get a good fight. So that's probably going to be my trip, man. If I have to if I have to leave to go see Andrew fight, I will. Maybe if I can swing it, depending on where he goes. But hopefully it's in Ohio, so I don't have to worry about that. But I can see Gene being like, "Hey, Iowa," and Andrew would be like, "Okay, fine, I'll do it."
Yeah,
that's far though, man. Like Des Moines is like 12 hours away.
Really, I didn't know that.
Driving, yeah.
I would have said like maybe 10 because Chicago's 6 from
like
Cleveland
10 or 12, something like that. I don't know.
So that's like halfway.
Yeah, I mean, just when they went to Bowling Green, Kentucky, that's 6.5. I didn't realize it was that far away. I mean, it's almost in Nashville.
Yeah, and that's I lost it.
Kokomo, Indiana, where Brogan Endress is fighting next month. We need to have him on to talk about that.
And is it in Bermuda, Jamaica? Ooh, I want to take you.
It's not. Come on, pretty mama. It's not. But it's in Kokomo, Indiana, and that's like 4.5 hours or something like that. So it's not as far, but like
Kokomo,
if
what are these coconuts gay or something?
Show bomb. Is that your James McAvoy from Split? Is that what that is?
No, it's Chip Chipperson.
Okay, because that sounds like James McAvoy from Split as well.
I'm a big fan of Jim Norton and Chip Chipperson, so it's like he always does like Kokomo. What the gay coconuts or something? And then that's what he does.
Maybe that's where McAvoy got that voice for Split, because that's like the voice of that kid, his kid character in Split.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I haven't watched that movie in so long.
It's a good movie.
I think they should. By the way,
great. Glass.
Yeah, I think they should bring James back for the MCU.
They may. They're going to be doing some weird stuff. I mean, I thought they had the first crossover.
Did you watch the last episode of WandaVision?
I did. I was going to say I thought they had a crossover, but it wasn't quite. It was just kind of something to mess with our heads. So I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, that's exactly. Ralph Boner. Enough said.
All right, let's talk about these fights.
All right, sir.
About an hour and 20 minutes or so, and first one probably won't start till about 5:30. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So we'll be getting that done. We have 3 title fights on this. Oh my
goodness!
Oh my God, King! They've got 3 title fights. Austin's coming in. Oh my God, King! Jan Blachowicz out of Sanya. Yeah, that's going to be a big card or fight to watch. That is your main event of the evening. I'm going to bring us back onto the normal screen and bring it down. And we're going to talk about each fight, starting with the main event of the evening for the light heavyweight championship. I have opinions on this fight. I assume you do too. Mine are a little bit odd, but but I will let you, sir, give your opinions on this fight first.
Let's set it up, Ray. Raymond, tonight we have the UFC light heavyweight championship of the world. We have the champion, Jan Blachowicz from Poland, the Polish power himself, and undefeated middleweight champion, Israel Adesanya. This is nuts. This is so great. Okay, so Jan Blachowicz is one of those guys who had to learn how to win, right? Because he was almost cut by the UFC, right? Then he has that win against Corey Anderson, a fight I did not think he'd win. He did, and then he knocked out Dominic Reyes in the vacant title fight for the vacant title. I did not think he was going to win that either. Blachowicz is fighting tonight. I don't think he's going to win this one either. However, this is really interesting because you have Israel Adesanya, who's insane striker. He's unlike anybody. He's so great. He's so flashy. He's so quick and so smart. He's great, right? He's coming in light, like he said he would, but he's actually a little heavier than I thought he'd be. He's 200 even, or 200.5 pounds. Blachowicz weighed in at 205. That sounds like it's not that big of a difference. However, tonight it will probably be about a 20-pound difference because I'm assuming Adesanya did not cut any weight. He was just straight on weight. So he's going to be a smaller guy. It happens a lot in heavyweight division. So when it happens in other divisions, they make a big deal out of it, but I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. Honestly, don't. Blachowicz, I could see him maybe possibly grappling because that's probably the soft spot of Israel Adesanya. However, you think that. The thing is, you got to be really careful when you get close to this guy. That's what happened with Yoel Romero, and he ended up fighting a really, really boring fight. But if you fight really timid against him, you're going to lose because he's going to outpoint you that way from distance. You're going to lose that way. I think Blachowicz knows this. I know he knows either if it's on the ground or standing up, his only way he's going to win is to get to him. So I think he's well aware that he's going to have to maybe take one or two to get one as far as punches go. And that's going to be the way he has to fight this. He has to go in. He has to go after him and get him. I think he has to push the entire time. And maybe he will try to get him up. I could see him getting him up against the cage and taking him down because he has an advantage there, I'm assuming. However, he would love to get those big Polish power hands on him, but he has to go in and get it. I don't think it's going to be very easy. I think Adesanya is going to win this fight. I'm going to say decision, but I'm going to hope for a finish, but I'm going to say a decision. And Izzy's going to be a double champ.
I agree with you. I am picking Jan just because I am a Poland homer. But here's my opinion on this fight. I think Izzy is definitely going to pull this out. I honestly think he's going to knock him out, probably third or fourth round, going to take him into the championship waters. Something Jan I don't believe has ever done. Or was it a 5-round fight? Did he go all 5 rounds against Reyes?
No, he knocked Reyes out.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I think honestly, Izzy's championship experience against guys like Whitaker, against guys like Yoel Romero are going to help him immensely when it comes to rounds 4 and 5. I also feel, and I'm not going to lie here, but this is just me, on my opinion, I feel like Jan is being thrown to the wolves a little bit in the idea that you got 2 different skill levels that are, I mean, Izzy's here, Jan's like hovering like right here. I hate to say this. He's a powerful guy, can shut the lights out, but Izzy is a complete package fighter.
You can't say someone's getting thrown to the wolves when they're champion, man.
I do. I mean, they could have said, hey, we'll give him one more title shot against like somebody in the light heavyweight division.
I don't know if anyone's ever had a tough, I don't know. I have to look back. I can't, I'm just thinking as far as your first title defense is maybe the toughest one I can remember.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who else had to defend their title against a champion right away. That may have happened. I can't remember though.
I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think it's ever happened in the UFC where
because Aldo was champion. Oh no, who was the lightweight champion when Alvarez? That may have been. I don't know. I could look it up. That may have been Alvarez's first title defense. I don't know.
I think it was actually.
Okay, so there you go. It's happened before. If that's true, we're not researching it right now. You can do it. Research yourself.
Do your own research. Check your work, and make sure your culture is put into it while you're doing your research. That's called new math.
Exactly. But yeah, you're right. This is tough. I'm like, dude, why didn't they give him Glover, right? Or somebody, then maybe Izzy. But you know what? If Izzy wants to do this now, awesome. Because this is an awesome fight. And I'm super excited for it. I'm not going to complain about it. It's awesome. Glover Teixeira weighed in yesterday, just in case. Hey, it could still happen, right? If one of these guys slips and breaks an ankle, Glover's going to fight. So good for Glover for showing up and making weight for a fight. He's probably not going to fight. But dude, this is awesome. This is great. Izzy will probably be the biggest star in this sport in the UFC, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He said yesterday it's inevitable, and I believe he's right. because he's great. He's fun. He's awesome to watch. He crushes people. He's very entertaining. He's a great personality. Good looking cat. Stay off that weird titty juice, whatever it is.
Now we have to bring it up. Now we have to bring it up.
That little, that weird roving, lazy nipple that he had that last fight.
Stroke tit.
Yes. So that, yeah. Jan Blachowicz, do you have the odds? It's on the UFC website.
Yeah, let me look it up.
I believe it's not. He's one of the bigger underdogs in the card, but not a very big underdog. He's less than a 2-1 underdog. I think he's like 185. Jan is plus 185. I believe.
Yes, Jan is a plus 185 according to UFC.com, and Izzy is minus 230 for this fight. So he's the favorite going into this. That's
DraftKings. DraftKings just shelled out a bunch of money to the UFC. That's
I did see that
official sports book of the UFC. Dana White was wearing a DraftKings t-shirt. That's what you get for all your money. You get Dana White and a DraftKings t-shirt. And apparently the clock tonight is going to be a DraftKings clock. So,
ooh, I like it. We get to see that nice little orange crown.
Soon as, the thing is, I'll be a DraftKings member as soon as Ohio lets us, right? So,
yeah,
unfortunately, but it will happen. I think, honestly, the thing I'll bet on the most is like weekday college basketball games. Or college football games, because I'm just bored, and I'm like, I can make this game so much better if I put $20 on it.
I would join you and pick the opposite, because I know now that you're terrible at picking things. So
yeah, when there's money on the line. But you know what? Listen, if you would have went to Vegas when that Conor and Poirier card was happening, man, we would have won a lot of money. So
I would have bet on Poirier because I thought Poirier was going to win that.
Parlay would have been Chandler and Poirier. You did not think Poirier was going to win it. You picked Conor. Did we have to rub back the tape?
I would rather you not. Whoever's in the booth right now, don't you dare.
Funny how people act like, oh, of course he lost. And then they also picked Conor. I'm like, are you serious? Listen, there's tape. I went hard. I went just about as hard as I could possibly go that episode on purpose.
You did.
Number one, because I was confident. Also, so I could say this. So I could say this shit to you later that I was confident in that pick. And I was. I thought Poirier, that big of an underdog, was insane. And he won. He would look great. Anyway, moving on.
I was about to say, let's move on from
where did I finish my thought? I don't remember. Oh, is he as an underdog? What is he?
Izzy is actually the favorite at 230.
Yeah, as a favorite. Yeah, excuse me. As a favorite. Yeah. Minus 230. That's not as big as I thought it would be originally. But the thing is, people know Jan can crack.
Yeah.
Just about as good as anybody. So
without a doubt. And that's why I'm kind of amazed that it's a 185. I was expecting maybe at least a 150, 130 I would have had Jan, because he does. He has the ability to just shut the fucking lights off. But I just don't see the way Izzy fights. And I mean, this could be his one kickboxing loss where he tries to go in for something and just gets rocked. But I do not see that happening with Jan. And I do see Israel Adesanya winning this, but I'm gonna pick Jan because I'm a homer, and I admit this. I pick for my country, for my homeland, my motherland, the place that bore me and my name. Yes, I'm all Poland, but I do think Izzy is gonna probably crack him up a few times and just destroy him for this fight.
I will say this though, and I watched a fight on Fight Pass recently, and like yesterday or today. I just that 30-foot octagon. We've been watching the 25-foot octagon. It looks so huge.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna miss the 25-foot octagon when they start going other places. I like the 25-foot octagon, but that if it gives an advantage to anybody, it's Jan. So. That's a factor too, I guess. However, they've also said like, oh man, it's a big factor for DC against Stipe. Stipe's camp didn't want it or whatever. And Stipe won that fight. He looked really good. So
he destroyed him. He destroyed
Daniel Cormier.
That's it, DC.
That's what we need to talk about quickly. Heavyweights. The UFC just cut a couple heavyweights.
Yeah.
Now I did call the JDS one a while ago. I think
you did.
If he didn't lose, if he lost to Gon, which he did, Alistair, I think the only reason that Alistair can still beat a lot of those heavyweights, in that division, even ranked guys. The thing is, he's also expensive. So, like, do they want to keep paying him his Alistair Overeem rate? Not really. So it's not really worth it. I understand them cutting him. And JDS makes a little more sense because he hasn't won in a minute. But I miss those guys. I love those guys. But I was thinking, I'm like, man, the only guy that Stipe has fought for a title now that is still in the UFC is Francis. All those other guys are gone. Those two, and also Verdum and Cormier. So,
yeah, I think honestly we're going to see a youth movement in the UFC's heavyweight division now that.
Oh, we're already seeing it. I mean, you see those guys like Dacus and Aspinall. Is it Aspinall?
Yeah, Aspinall.
Yeah,
that kid's
those
a
guys,
savage.
Yeah, and Dacus too. They're tough dudes. So yeah, for sure, that's good. You know what, man? Jan Blachowicz, I think, has a future at heavyweight too. I think I would be very surprised if he did not fight in the UFC heavyweight division at some point. He's a big
I could see Jan being a heavyweight fighter.
He'll probably be like a 230 heavyweight, like Stipe too. I mean, Stipe is a 230 heavyweight, 240, depending on. But yeah, 260's coming up. I'm excited for that. But yeah, those guys are gone.
Yeah.
BKFC apparently called him right away.
Back that Brinks truck up, bitch.
You know what? You know what? Dos Santos has always been a boxer first, so man, he'd probably be pretty solid at it. Maybe it'd be better for him to maybe do normal boxing. However, Brinks truck, like you said, they're gonna pay him the most, and I would watch Junior Dos Santos fight somebody bare knuckle.
Oh sure. Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. I would Alistair Overeem, same thing. I would love to just watch that lip get split open one more time because it would happen with a guy like
have them fight each other. If you can sign them both, have them fight each other right away.
Don't make me have an orgasm. Right. What are you doing?
It's happened before. I think I looked. It was like 2016 or 15 or 16.
Give me a nerd boner. How dare you?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Especially because I don't know if their big star they just signed is going to fight anymore. That's Paige Van Zandt. So they're looking for more names. So of course they're going to talk to those people, and of course they're going to. I mean, listen, we said before the only reason those guys are going over to BKFC is because they're offering the most money by a lot.
I think also Scott Coker should at least get, because of the fact that he was Strikeforce heavyweight champion at one point. Mm-hmm. Give Alistair that last paycheck run in Bellator, because that's where, I mean, that was one of his debuts in America was for Strikeforce.
Right.
So give him the way out, or in the way in to the Bellator heavyweight division, and give him like a couple elder statesmen. I want to see him fight Frank Mir. I want to see him fight Big Country. I want to see him fight a bunch of guys.
Big Country's done, and so is Mir, I think. But did you see Frank Mir's taking a boxing match on that Jake Paul Ben Askren card?
I did. Who's he fighting?
I forget. A boxer. He's fighting a real boxer. So
interesting.
It should be interesting.
Yeah. But like I said, man, I think honestly for Alistair, his best thing should just be to go under the Coker banner and make and kind of just ride off into the sunset on Viacom's dime, you know what
we haven't done, and we now's not the time to do it. We have more stuff to talk about, but we need to talk more about Scott Coker, because that guy doesn't get enough love, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll do that another episode. We'll give the Scott Coker episode. No, listen, he does just as much shady shit as Dana, and he's not as good as promoter as Dana, but the fact that he's keeping those organizations alive like Bellator right now, against the juggernaut, I mean, it says something. So they make smart decisions over there. They do.
Oh hell yeah! And that's like the one thing I like about a guy like Scott Coker is he's like you ever watch like old mafia footage, and then you like
he does seem like Uncle Scotty. He does seem like that.
He looks like that guy, like he's at the table with everybody and he's just like, it's still framed like I shot him. Like that's exactly what Scott Coker looks like. Mm-hmm. He had to go. He just had to go. I needed to take care of Michael Chandler somehow, and I finally got him. I got him in the corner at the deli. It was a good time had by all.
I would say PFL would be another destination for those guys, but PFL's weird. They do seasons, and they already have their tournament set up for their season. Yeah. Verdum is in there. I don't know who else. I think Verdum was like the only one I knew, I think.
In the heavyweights, Pettis is another one. He's making his debut, I think, April 12th for PFL.
Cool. Yeah, PFL has some stars too. The thing is about those division, those other organizations, PFL and Bellator, they're just not that deep.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they have great fight. They find a way to promote those guys, those guys. So they seem like, I mean, it's not that those guys aren't tough. They're tough.
Mm-hmm.
They just got to figure out a way to make more stars. I don't know. It's easier said than done, but I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be easier if they had ESPN Plus, or whatever. If they can put all these shows on.
Yeah.
But they're doing their thing. But
are they on NBC?
They're moving to Showtime, aren't they?
Are they? Okay.
They're on CBS. They're on CBS Sports, but they're doing Showtime for the tournament, I believe, because we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next month when they start their light heavyweight tournament, which is really, I mean, we said that before, it's super legitimate, man. I mean, listen, you put some of those guys up against the UFC's top light heavyweights right now, and it's like a push, man. Those guys could all beat them, yeah, for sure. So except for maybe Machida. Machida's a little old, but
we're talking Bellator. Sure. Yeah, we're talking Bellator, not PFL.
That's the PFL. I meant Bellator. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
No. As soon as you said what channel is PFL on? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bellator's on CBS and it's going to be on Showtime. No, my bad. PFL's on ESPN Plus.
Is it? I thought it was on CB or NBC Sports Network.
It may be, but I'm pretty sure that it was on. I mean, you can watch all their fights on. They didn't fight last year, but ESPN Plus. Yeah.
Well, that's good though that they got that ESPN. If they're on ESPN Plus, that's actually a nice little boom there. But that's what I'm like. Wait a minute, when you started like rattling off things, I'm like,
yeah,
that's Bellator.
Yeah, whatever, man.
And Bellator, I mean, you want to talk about? We'll just circle back to old Uncle Johnny here, or Uncle Scotty here. Fucking that guy knows how to work with the Showtime people. Scott Coker. I mean, he that was where Strikeforce got big. Was off of doing those free-ish shows, those monthly shows that they would do on Showtime back in the mid 2000s when like it was just still wide open. But I loved having that option to watch outside of the UFC, something I could have like actually watch,
Oh yeah. If you talk about what grew my MMA fandom, it was the UFC and also my friends fighting. But if you didn't throw Strikeforce in there, I'd be lying, right? Strikeforce was, because we had Showtime. So I probably watched for a while there. I watched more Showtime cards than I watched UFC cards for a minute there. So and Morrow on the call. And I just watched. They had a replay the other day of when Robbie Lawler fought Manhoff.
That was such a good fucking fight.
That was awesome. It was like a 1-round fight, but it was great. Yeah. Robbie was done, then he knocked him out. It was great. That was also when Herschel Walker fought.
Yeah.
Hey, he looked good though. He fought a legitimate professional guy. I mean, the guy he fought was a professional fighter. It wasn't, I think it was like 0-1, but that's something you would have fight a guy who was 0-0. So,
And Herschel Walker's a beast to begin with. I mean, he's just a monster of a human being. And
he's in his 50s and he looks, he's like a guy who does like 400 push-ups a day or something. He's just a specimen, that guy.
Yeah.
People are like, he's on stuff. I'm like, well, the guy never stops doing push-ups. Like,
yeah. At least he's keeping it going and not getting like Bob from Fight Club tits. Like that's right. That's the one thing you want. But shit. Also, if you remember Showtime in the early, even before Strikeforce came along, Elite XC, that was another one that I think it wasn't run by Scott Coker, but it was. So I forget who was booking that because that was the debut of guys like Kimbo.
Orlowski and Nelson fought for Elite XC.
Yes, they did. And so did Fedor was Strikeforce, I believe.
Yeah, Strikeforce.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you say Elite XC, I think of Seth Petrozelli knocking out Kimbo. And Joe Rogan talked about that fight recently in his podcast. I don't know what brought it up because he's had like the last 2 weeks he's had like 6 fighters on, which has been cool because he hasn't done MMA shows in a while and he's had a bunch lately. But they're talking about that and he's like, dude, that was a terrible matchup for Kimbo. They gave him that like last minute. They gave him Petrozelli and Petrozelli knocked him out. Yeah, is what it is. Hey, Kimbo ended up being a very solid mixed martial artist. So.
Yeah, except for that gas tank. That was
it wasn't fantastic, but he was as far as heavyweights go, he competed. He beat good guys. Houston Alexander is an old warrior. He beat him. When he beat out Houston Alexander, then that's when you realize that he's pretty solid.
Oh yeah, I remember that was the tough finale, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the tough finale.
Yeah.
What I also loved about Elite XC is they did something that not a lot of organizations do, but I wish that some organizations would, like the lower ones. UFC, I don't think this division would really work. Super heavyweight. They had super heavyweights for a while, and I loved it because you got to see just like 6'5", and they would announce like 300 pounds, and you're like,
right.
Fuck me.
God there damn. Are some legitimate athletes at that weight. I mean, just look at the NFL. You think there are 300 plus pound athletes. Look at the NFL. Every team has 10 of them.
Yeah. And they can all run a sub 540. That's I know. The fucking weird part.
That's so crazy about it, man. That's so weird. I mean, number one, they have to stay fast, but also they're super athletic, and like it's so weird. The offensive lineman is a weird job, man. It really is. They don't get nearly enough love.
It's kind of demoralizing when you see a guy like a 500 or a 300-pound guy doing a bigger vertical leap than you'll ever dream of.
Right.
Super like, Jesus Christ.
Super athletes. They just, also just eat a lot of bread and drink a lot of beer, I guess. But yeah, they said Joe Thomas used to eat a loaf of bread a day. So yeah, that's why he lost so much weight when he stopped playing, because he just had to try hard to keep it on. So
yeah.
Anyway, man, my voice is going, man. I'm a little worried about this podcast, man, because my voice has been going a lot. Acid reflux, I'm gonna blame that. Anyway, sure.
Let's talk about this next fight, and I'm gonna bring up the line real fast, dude.
Okay, number one. I was trying to remember what we were talking about. It was super heavyweights. Oh, okay. I pretty much made my point. They're good guys. I mean, Sean McCorkle only ever fought heavyweight in the UFC. He was a super heavyweight every other time.
I think honestly, if you did a super heavyweight division, you'd have a lot more. Like, I think Greg Hardy would be a decent super heavyweight.
Yeah, and probably also Ngannou and Lewis, but like the thing is, Lewis would
be the king of that division at least once in his life.
I think if you had a super heavyweight division, you would have to kind of move the max of the heavyweight division down like 10 pounds or so. I think like 250 would have to be like
and above super heavyweight. I think would be a good, or 266.
I don't think there'd be enough. And I also think if you get some guys from light heavyweight too, if you moved it down to 250 max.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That would actually be a good weight. 250 for heavyweight would be,
and then everything else super heavyweight. Yeah. I think you'd have to put a cap on super heavyweight though after like 320.
I was about to say it's like anywhere from 251 to 300. Like, because honestly, I don't want to see like a butterbean showing up in a super heavyweight division. You're like, oh, I know this is already a lock. Like, put your money down, Daddy. It's already fun.
Our buddy, the very funny Chris Harvey, fought 2 fights of super heavyweight, and he's 400 plus pounds. So
yeah. I would rather, like 300, maybe 320, 350 would probably be like a super heavyweight from like UFC, I think. But I don't ever see Uncle Dana doing that, to be honest with you. Not at all.
No, not at all. No. As far as adding weight classes, it's not going to be that one. All right, let's keep moving into these fights because, man, we got to do it's done like an hour.
Yep. The next fight, I want to bring up the betting line. Because Vegas is just getting sexy with what they're typing up here. Amanda Nunes is a 1250 favorite going into this fight against Megan Anderson. She is the favorite at plus 750. So get your bets in right now, Sharks. Make sure to get that lineup because you're gonna lose all your money tonight. But yeah, man, I the line when I saw that, my jaw dropped. As I was pulling up stuff, I'm bringing in the stats as we speak. Amanda Nunes, I'm going to give my just opinion on this fight and then let you say, because mine's pretty easy. I got Amanda Nunes. Do I think Megan Anderson, who is a perennial 145er in the women's division, in women's MMA, I think she's going to be the toughest test that Amanda Nunes has fought yet because of the fact that she fights so often at 145. She understands the weight class, but I see Amanda Nunes just just performing, to say the lioness, the circle of life on a Megan Anderson. I don't see this going more than 3 rounds. If it does, it'll still be Amanda Nunes in any of those rounds past number 3, dude. So I got Amanda Nunes. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Nunez too. However, I feel bad for Megan Anderson because she can't make 135. She's the biggest 145er they have. She's legitimately 6 foot tall. She's 6 foot tall, how many guys make 145 at 6 foot tall? Not many. There may be 1 or 2.
That may actually change my thing because of the fact if she can use her distance against a 5'8", it could happen.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's not the first person Amanda Nunes has fought that could knock her out. I mean, Holly Holm could knock her out. Didn't go that way. Cyborg could knock her out. Had enough power to knock her out. Didn't go that way. Megan Anderson also can. I don't think it's going to go that way. If it goes on the ground, it's definitely Nunez's game. I mean, Anderson has a submission win, but she doesn't have nearly as good grappling skills as Nunes. She has to use her reach, obviously. It's most obviously in the world. She's 6 foot tall. She has to use her reach. She has a really, really, really good right straight. And she's knocked people out with that. And her last fight, she knocked someone out with that. She does that. It's possible.
If she actually did.
It'd be great. I love
put her on the canvas.
Right, it'd be great, and it needs to happen for that division too. Because I think they have 2 fights in that division. They have this one, and they have Felicia Spencer and Danielle Wolf. Danielle Wolf is 1-0 in MMA. She was a great boxer for a long time. She had 1 fight in the Contender Series, but I didn't even think she won. But now she's fighting Felicia Spencer. I mean, I think there's no way that Danielle Wolf beats Felicia Spencer because Felicia Spencer could take punches from Cyborg and Nunes and walk the room. So. Anyway, point is, for this division, Anderson probably needs to win, because then it's going to be a rematch. And I feel bad. Like I said, I feel bad for Anderson because if this division goes, she's out of the UFC. She can't make 135. So, and Spencer is also a true 145er, but this is a lady that there's no way she can make 135. She's a really big 145er. So that's the test for Nunes. It's the biggest lady she's ever fought. I like Anderson a lot. Like I said, she has pop. I don't think she's gonna win. It'd be great. I want her to win. I'd like to see her win. I like Nunes too. Nunes is awesome, but yeah, I see the champ keeping her belts.
Me too. I don't see Amanda Nunes not walking out the UFC's 145 champion after tonight. She's
will
just
be interesting
so good.
what happens. Yeah, she is just so good. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with the division if she's still the champion. Like, can you take the division away if she's defending her belt? Especially if she doesn't want to do bantamweight anymore. We've talked about this before. It's interesting. I don't know. There's Kayla Harrison, too, that the UFC needs to sign. I don't know if that's happening or there's negotiations. That's the 2-time judo. We talked about her. Gold medalist. She's undefeated in MMA. She's still a baby in MMA, but she's undefeated. But the thing is, there's not a whole lot of 145ers for her to fight. And she just moved down to 145. She was fighting 155 in Bellator. So she can't fight any lower than that either. In the UFC. So, I think Harrison and Nunes will eventually be a fight, but besides that, they have to sign her first. But I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're thinking. But obviously, everyone's well aware that that division is on thin ice.
Yeah, 145. It was baffling to me when I know they did basically wanted to create the division around Chris Cyborg.
Right. That's why they made the division in the first place. And then after she got beat by Nunes, she's like, I'm gone. Peace out. I'm gone.
Yep. So
because I would have liked to see that fight at least one more time.
Me too. I would have loved to have seen a rematch between Nunes and Cyborg for that belt, but Cyborg just decided I'm done, folks.
Well, she's fighting a Bellator now. Which is no one for to beat her at belt. The only person who's ever gave her a run for her money, other than that weird phantom loss she's had at the beginning of her career, was Amanda Nunes. No one else even came close.
Oh yeah,
and that's they wanted to do that Rousey fight for so long with Cyborg. That ended up not happening. But in hindsight, you're like, oh man, no, geez, no, that would have been awful.
Yeah,
she would have killed Ronda, like Nunes did. But yeah, whatever. It is unfortunate because Cyborg's one of the best female fighters in the world, and
oh hell yeah,
she was in the UFC for a minute and is like, nah, I'm good. She got knocked out. She's like, I'm good. I'm out. So,
but yeah, and that's the thing with this division too is like 145. There's still not a lot to go around, which sucks. But we'll see what happens. We both have Amanda Nunes. For those people just joining us, we are talking about UFC 259, Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya. To break down what we've already had, Izzy, we both think Izzy is going to win. I am picking Jan because he just the home, but I do feel that Izzy's going to win this, but I'm still picking Jan Blachowicz. And then also we just talked about Amanda Nunes.
What does that even mean? You think
Izzy's
going to win, but you're picking
I'm a homer for my country, for the country of my last name's birth.
You were born in Ohio. Where I don't know. Where were you born? Texas?
I was born in Ohio. Yeah, okay. I was born in Cleveland.
All right.
But my great grandfather on my dad's side was from Poland. So like a Polish immigrant in like 1911. So I'm always like, woohoo. But we are also talking about a battle at 135, even money at minus 110, according to the UFC.
According to me too, man. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, dude. Especially with the way the bantamweight division has been, especially after Henry Cejudo dropped the title to retire after winning that one in the 125 title. This is going to be a fun fight though, man. Like this is going to be two guys, Pietro Yan. Let's call him Pietro for any WandaVision fans, taking on Aljamain Sterling. I don't even know who to pick for this fight. This is one of those where I'm just kind of going to sit back with a couple beers and go, entertain me. Like I gave my friend $10 for this pay-per-view. You better fucking live up to the expectations. Well, that's what we do. We pool our money together and we buy the pay-per-view. That's usually what
I'll be
we
watching it by myself as usual, and I have to do all that myself. Anyway, but this card I'm excited about. Okay, so Petr Yan had kind of like a semi coming out party against Aldo. We didn't really know how good he was until we fought Aldo. Wait,
I'm going to stop you right there. His coming out party was actually against Uriah Faber.
Well, all right, we knew he was good. He was good then, but Faber's old. He's getting old. It's like 40 when he fought him. Well, so I'm thinking, let's wait for him to fight a contender and see what happens. And he fought very well against Aldo. Listen, if he beats Sterling like he beat Aldo, then I'm like, all right, dude, this guy's going to be super tough to beat. He's tough to begin with, but I mean, Sterling is a really tough dude. So if he finishes Sterling, oh man, he's the man, right? Same thing with Sterling if he finishes Jan, though. I mean, dude, Sterling is a fantastic grappler. That's what's going to happen, man. He's going to wrestle him. He's going to get him to the ground. He's going to try to choke him out like he did with Corey Sandhagen. Jan is a fantastic striker. He's been working down at American Top Team in Florida with those monsters down there. Jan has some. He's probably only gotten better. Not saying the Sterling doesn't work with monsters. He's been working at Extreme Couture for this camp. He's a Sarah guy. He's a Sarah Jiu-Jitsu guy from New Jersey. Dude, this is going to be great. I don't know who's going to win. I'm going to pick Aljo because I want Aljo to win. Picking the American. However, I have no idea, man. I can see this going either way. It's going to be great. I'm going to be the contrarian here with you and pick Petr Yan. Because of the fact I just want to be different on this one. We've been in agreement on pretty much all the fights we've picked so far, all three of them, but I'm going to pick Petr Yan just because, he's been a savage against guys like Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber. He did make look like an old man. Fight, though. This is a different fight for him than Faber and Aldo. This is the guy who's going to put his body on him, take him down, grapple him. And
super creative too with his striking.
Right,
super
creative. That too. To get in, and once he gets in, we don't know what Jan can do on the ground. I'm sure he's a bit capable, but Sterling is he will suffocate you. He will.
Yep.
And so dude, I'm really excited for it for sure.
This is gonna be again even money on this one. So place your bets. Both are a minus 110, according to the DraftKings sponsorship of the UFC, so at least they have that. We got Drew Dober and Islam
Makhachev. I don't know, Makhachev. I don't know. I watched a bunch of these guys' fights recently. I'm just gonna call him Islam. I watched a bunch of this dude's fight. This fight is really fun. it's the what they call the classic matchup, the classic MMA matchup of striker versus grappler. Islam is talk about guys who smother people. This guy's a fantastic wrestler. He does that to people. He out grapples fantastic grapplers. I watched his last fight against Davi Ramos, who's a black belt and an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner. A guy who's had multiple rear naked choke wins in the UFC, one against our buddy John Gunther. But Islam smothered the dude. He smothered him for sure. It looked great. And it fights in the past the same way. He'll get you down. He'll beat you up. It's Khabib style. It's Khabib style wrestling and beating the hell out of you, ground and pound fighting. And Drew Dober is so fun because the guy throws from his hips a lot, and like he's so fast. And he just, I believe he's in the same camp as Gaethje. And apparently, when those guys spar, it's a show to watch. I'm sure it is, man. Those guys are both nuts, and they're both in the same weight class, and they both throw hard. I'm sure it's great. But dude, I love Dober. He's knocked out. I forget. Geez, I can't remember right now. The last guy knocked out. He's a couple knockouts in a row. He's a beast. He's fought really tough dudes and knocked them out. These guys are both in the top 15 lightweight matchup, which is a big deal because this is a very, very stacked division. Dude, I'm excited for this fight. So it's really simple. If Dober can stay on his feet, he'll win the fight. That's basically it. However, he's been taken down by lesser grapplers before, but he knows how to get up. He knows what he's doing. So I'm sure he'll have a good game plan. But yeah, if he can, it's basically that. If he turns this into a striking match, or he can get up when he's taken down, he'll win the fight. If not, Islam will be able to out-grapple him and get a decision, maybe a submission. But I'm picking Islam. I'm pulling for Dober, pulling for the American. But I'm gonna pick the favorite here. One of the bigger favorites. I believe this is the second biggest favorite on the card. Is Islam.
I do not like Islam. Neither do I like Russia. So I am picking the American Drew Dober all day, every day, all day, every day.
You just say you don't like Islam. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Islamophobic, big business, Islamophobic. Ray flying high clack. There he is.
Yes, big business is in town. Happy New Year to you all.
Dude, you know, we need to get you a bit maybe that can work as a top hat. We need to get you a monocle too for that same bit. Yeah, a monocle.
Yes, big business Ray needs to have the monocle, and possibly one of those like coat-tail, like a penguin tail
penguin
suits going on. But I'm definitely gonna be rooting for Drew Dober here, just because again, I don't like Russians, so it's definitely a thing. Some Russians I like.
You don't like Russians, man. What do you mean you don't like Russians?
Russians have always been our enemies. Always. Cold War, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Cold War.
Right.
Cold War.
Dude, aren't they the most terrifying though? Like, man, when Petr Yan in a press conference asked him a question, he's just like in Russian, never smiles, just do it. And that I think yesterday or the day before when they had the press conference, Aldo said something, made a joke, and he just looks over and goes, he's like, I will destroy you.
I must break you.
It's terrifying. And you know what? Russians, they have good hair. Good hair, the Russians. Yeah. Good thick hair. Yeah. I don't think they get looked people forget about the Russians' hair game. Everybody thinks about the Indians. And yeah, people in India have fantastic hair, but the Russians, real thick hair.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
They grow great beards too.
Great beards. That's true.
I'm very envious of any Russian man in like Siberia, because they've adapted. They've adapted to a different level of cold.
I said it all the time. I have a fake beard. My beard is fake. When I say fake, I mean I can't grow it on the sides, so I have the hair over it, so it looks like I have a full beard, but I don't.
I can grow a decent beard. I had it growing earlier this year, just like out to here, so I was happy about that.
I'm a bit of a bummer that it never has grown on these sides. Whatever. It is what it is.
Let's talk about our next fight. We have two violent men opening up this curtain jerk of a fight with Thiago Marreta Santos versus Alexander Rakic. Both men can have highlight reel knockouts. Alexander Rakic is just a complete and utter lunatic. Thiago Santos always been a guy in the UFC to bring highlight reel knockouts. Didn't he have a wheel kick against, I forget who it was. He was I think it was the first wheel kick in UFC history to be a knockout, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, I see this being a strike fest with one of these guys at least getting inside twice. First one will rock the motherfucker, and then the second one will just shut the lights off at the Motel 6. And it's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. When I found out this was going to be on this card, my nerd boner was at level 50, and that's out of 10, by the way, if you're wondering. My MMA nerd boner just like went off the scale. I was like, this is going to be one of the best fights ever, hopefully, as an opener for a UFC card. I mean, Yancy Medeiros and his comeback win was great, but this one's going to be just a war, sir. So I'm excited for this one.
Man, I hope so, right? Thiago Santos, not too long ago, sir, just 2 years ago, beat a guy named Jan Blachowicz. Knocked him out, I believe. So, in the third round. And he hasn't won a fight in his last couple because he fought a couple tomato cans named Glover Teixeira and John Jones.
Just nobody's heard of these guys.
Couple nobodies, right?
Yeah.
And Rakic is coming off of this win of this guy named Anthony Smith, in which he looked fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know who Anthony Smith is, but I've heard he lost some teeth, possibly.
Yeah, that was in the Glover Teixeira fight. But no, he looked great.
Great gum jobs.
Right. Look great. And you know what? That Anthony Smith win looked even better when Anthony Smith came back and won his next fight, right?
Yes.
Because you thought, oh man, is he done? Maybe he's done. But then he had a quick win his next fight. But no, Rakic is a beast. He's a young beast. He's Russian too, isn't he? Serbian. My fault.
Kind of Russia,
he's Austrian.
Oh, it says Serbia. Where is it? The country.
Okay, the flag is that's weird. That's weird because the flag is
maybe
Serbia.
He trains out of Serbia.
Maybe. Oh, this says fighting out of Vienna, Austria, and
okay.
You know, maybe this flag is just, I don't know, because what we're seeing is a Serbian flag, which I know what the Serbian flag looks like because
in
of
Serbia and then like moved during all the crap.
It says born Austria, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I know what the Serbian flag looks like because when you watch tennis, you learn flags. It's true.
No, I know exactly. No, trust me, because there's been a lot of really good Austrian tennis players and Serbian tennis players as well.
Yeah, the number one tennis player in the world. Who is it? Ray, go. You got this. Number one, Serbian.
Papadopoulos.
Pretty close. Novak Djokovic. Djokovic is a killer. Anyway, before he lost to I can never say this. Volkan Ozdemir.
Ozdemir.
Yeah, he lost his first ever fight. Then he lost to Ozdemir a while ago, but then he beat Smith. Yeah, this is going to be good. You're talking about 29-year-old and a 37-year-old. I think Rakic's gonna have this win, but wouldn't be surprised at all if Santos wins this. I hope it's a slugfest. I hope somebody gets knocked out. I don't think it's going to happen though. These guys are very smart, very technical strikers. I think what was going to happen is a decision for the either Serbian or Austrian gentleman. I've been to Austria. I told you this. Austria is a beautiful country. It's gorgeous.
It looks beautiful in photos I've seen of on like Google and stuff. So
to this day, the most gorgeous, place as far as what it looks like aesthetically, Salzburg, Austria. It's gorgeous.
Lovely.
What?
I said lovely for kid touching as well.
That's Vienna, but yeah.
That's because it's little dicks, so obviously it's going to be in.
You look up a
Vienna.
Picture of Salzburg, and you look at this like it looks like a postcard fairy tale town, and when you're there, that's what it looks like. It looks like that. Nice. It's gorgeous. It's I would like to go back someday. I don't really know what's there, but it's gorgeous. I was there for singing.
I actually, the one country I've always wanted to go to, but then I've like looked in like their policies and political views and stuff, just because I always loved the name of it, was Azerbaijan. I've always wanted to go to that area, but it's like it's involved with the Armenians and that little dust up they're having or have had for decades upon decades, which is the Armenian genocide. Azerbaijan has been the driving force in that. So it's like, I don't want to really go there.
I mean, the thing is, though, people say, "Oh, that's a dangerous country." I'm like, if you go off the beaten path, I mean, if you go as a tourist, man, they need tourists, right? All these countries, tourism is a big part of their economy. So you go to be a tourist somewhere, you're going to be fine, most likely, unless you decide you want to go backpacking and to go off the like I said, like off the beaten path and shit. And I want to see the real of the country. I want to see the real Eastern Europe.
No, you don't. All of a sudden, you're in Hostel, like
exactly,
cutting some guy's dick off and throwing it to German or Rottweilers. You never want that. But let's talk about this. I want to really talk about this feature prelim. We talked about him earlier. I'll bring up one more time the quote, and I swear to God, if the Las Vegas Athletic Commission has any balls and a sense of humor, they will put one man as this referee for this fight. Honest to God, I don't care who referees this fight as long as it's not Keith Peterson. If they do not put Keith Peterson on here, I will be madder than a motherfucker, and I will call the Athletic Commission in Las Vegas and say, you fucked up big time.
They already said they weren't going to. They already said they were going to okay his request. But it would be pretty funny, like you don't make the rules here, we make the rules here move if they just said, nope, it's Keith Peterson, right? He wasn't going to be the ref, but he is now because you had to ask.
He just he walks up with a cigarette in his mouth and is like, hey, Cruz, I'll see you Saturday. And he just walks away.
Is he from Brooklyn now?
Well, no, but it's that voice. I know I kind of made him sound like Terry McNeely. Hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Fuck the libs. Fuck them.
Right. I got to take a break.
Okay, we have a pee break. Let's talk about this, though, a little bit about this quote since Tim is going. I hate the fact that there was even a choice. Not a fan of the fact that fighters can do this. Big business race coming out for sure. We're taking a pee break. And actually, while I have this time, I want to shout out to the Funny Stop and Pete and his family for the great 2 days that I had at the Funny Stop hosting. And then I got a guest spot last night with Aaron Berg from Compound Media. Go to compoundmedia.com, subscribe, use CM 1 month to get 20% off. And I think it's CM 6 month for the second month off, or for 6 months off, and then CM 12 month for 20% off on all the subscription base or subscription levels that Compound Media has. Aaron Berg, delicious comic, like one of the best joke writers I've ever seen. Crowd work was insane. The crowds that came out to that show Thursday and Friday, it was just so good. First show was almost completely sold out at capacity for what we have here regulations wise, and definitely was one of the best shows I've ever had, as my dog is losing his mind. Just completely, I think the mailman's here, but it's definitely a thing. But yeah, I'm gonna gush over Aaron Berg right now, because I was hosting on Thursday and did a guest spot yesterday at the Funny Stop Comedy Club. Go to funnystop.com. Big shows coming up. Pablo Francisco will be there April Fool's Day and through the 3rd. And then also you will have guys like Bill Squire, who's a Cleveland guy. Tom Cotter is coming to the Funny Stop. And just the crowds on their own were completely awesome. Like I said yesterday, we were at capacity for both shows. People were coming in and just enjoying live comedy. And like I said, man, Aaron Berg is one of the nicest dudes I've met in comedy. Great guy, hilarious joke writer. To me, like, Aaron Berg is one of those guys you look at and go, I want to be that comic one day when I grow up as a stand-up, because just the timing, everything to do with how he was working with the crowd, he'd say something and then all of a sudden blast them off into a joke. Tim's yelling for somebody. What's he? What are you doing?
Hello, Ray.
Hi.
So did everyone see what would happen if you had to do this show by yourself?
Yeah, I kind of went off on a little tangent about Ehrenberg, talking about how good the weekend was, or the two shows that I was on.
No, I knew the real reason why you wanted to go down there last night.
Yeah, I know. It's because I wanted. Yes.
Did you get drunk and tell him how much you want to be on compound?
No, I didn't even do that. I just got drunk and we talked about some stuff, and then he actually yesterday wore a Reg Dunlap Slapshot Charlestown Chiefs jersey hoodie. Cool. And I want one of them, but I want it to be the perv from the movie. I don't want to have like Paul Newman's character or Ned Braden or Denis Lemieux, Consenu La Saison.
This guy, her nipples were like little rocks. That guy,
nipples as hard as little rocks.
Yeah, that guy.
Here's to all that delicious snatch down in FLA. I want to that's why I want to direct that film. I want to direct that.
That's why a remake of that movie would not have him in it.
It would, and I would fight for that character to stay in because he's not in every scene. He's not in every scene.
No, it wouldn't work. I guarantee it. They cut him out. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I don't care. It's a period piece. You can do. There were a lot of creepos.
You know what's weird, dude? They're starting to cut out that from period pieces now.
Yeah,
it's weird. Bullshit. Like I started watching, I'm like, man, they're pretty forgiving to this character. They would not be that forgiving to, like fill in the blanks. But like if it's a period piece, like a period piece. I'm not saying I want like racist porn or anything like that, but I'm saying just you're trying to make it accurate.
Yeah, I mean,
and the point is, if people get too sensitive, then you're not going to be able to make period pieces anymore. So
yeah, and that would make me sad.
So yeah,
because it's like, especially a movie like Slapshot. Luckily, nobody has really messed with that yet. Once people start messing with stuff like Slapshot, Major League,
Lola Bunny.
Lola, I don't even know what that is.
What? From Space Jam?
Oh, okay. What's your opinion on that? Because like right, I have an opinion, but it's not what you think it's gonna be.
So what we're talking about is Space Jam. Space Jam to this day is one of my favorite movies. I love Space Jam, and as an adult, I appreciate it just as much, but for different reasons. Like there's jokes in there I didn't get, and I'm so bummed out that I feel like there's zero chance that the second Space Jam is going to be any good. Before this news, it has nothing to do with this, but just before, I'm like, everything they're doing, I'm like, I don't think there's any chance at all this is going to be any good compared to the last one.
No.
I'm going to watch it because it's going to be on HBO Max, so I'll watch it, but it's going to be a bummer. I guarantee it. Because it just is. It sucks. The thing is, it sucks when you there is a way they could do it to make it good. That's what it's. If you feel like, oh, there's no way they could make it decent, I'm like, that's not true. They could, but they just probably didn't. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's some good jokes in there, and I hope it's solid. But what we're talking about is Lola Bunny, who in the first one was a very sexy rabbit. She had like a cut off shirt, and she was the like a Jessica Rabbit type character, but she was actually a bunny. That was kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
Lola Bunny, and she was a fantastic basketball player. She was the best toon basketball player. Is that actually, as far as the Looney Tunes go? She had
a great jump shot from midfield. From midfield, like
she's a badass, man. She's a badass, right? You call her doll, she's all pissed and like beats you up and dunks over you, and then gets a fire in their eyes. And she's a badass. She was awesome, but now they made her like the frumpy best friend. Like they made her different, right? They desexualized the cartoon bunny, which I don't really care. It's fine. It's my opinion. It's whatever. I don't care. Yeah. The only thing I thought was weird was that the director said, "Oh, we wanted to make her strong." I'm like, strong. I'm like, who's stronger than Lola Bunny?
See, also
she was sexy and she was a fucking badass. Man. I'm like, I don't have a problem with it at all because it's a cartoon character. Do whatever you want. But that was a weird way to justify it. But I don't care.
Also, I found this out via, I think, some YouTube some YouTube video that they were talking about this, or I think it was maybe Anthony Cumia. I don't remember exactly where I heard this, but the guy who is directing this film only watched Space Jam like 2 years ago.
No. Yeah, it's going to suck.
Yep. And that's
the director of the first one says there's no way they're going to be making this any good. He said that.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. It's hilarious.
And my thing is, and also his big thing that I guess this was his words. Don't really quote me on this, but I think he did an interview talking about Lola Bunny and was like, he was shocked by how over sexualized she was and all this stuff. And you brought up a great point. She was a bad bitch.
Yeah.
Like she was a bad bitch for being, big tits and fucking nice ass and thick thighs. But at the same time, she wasn't like, like a Marilyn Monroe that would just like take, hey, dame, you're a piece of ass.
No,
she fucking your ass.
That was part
everybody
of her
up.
People called her doll. She got really pissed. Remember the fire in her eyes? She kicked their asses, right? You got really pissed off. She didn't take no shit. That's weird because you're like, what kind of role models do you want for women? Now, again, it's a cartoon rabbit. I get it. And it's silly that we're even talking about it. But when you say it like that, I'm like, dude, she was a badass.
Yeah.
She was a badass. Do I think she's still going to be a badass? Yes. But the point is, with that, you're like, oh, you could be sexy and a badass. You can.
Yeah.
Well, the bunny could.
Look at Laura Croft.
Yeah.
Laura Croft was a fucking badass and she had cones for tits. How do you not love a woman like that with that? And I never did the nude code, FYI. I never did the naked code for Tomb Raider 1 because I just didn't believe it. And I love the fact that in the second Laura Croft game, if you tried to enter the nude code, she would explode. Yeah. That's a development team going, we're going to fuck with these guys now.
I didn't know that was. I mean, I did play the first one, but I didn't remember that.
It was a rumor going around in the 90s when that game was first going on that like if you entered like a certain code, like the Konami code kind of thing, you would get Laura Croft completely naked. It wasn't a real thing. It was sort of the early days of internet trolling. Gotcha. And so what IDOS did in the second one is said, fuck it, we're gonna make her blow up anytime one of these perverts try and do this shit. And I would love to see
that's hilarious
a video count of how many times across the world during the height of Tomb Raider that people just were like, oh, I wanted to see her boobs, I didn't want to see her blow up.
That would have been funny. You know what else would have been funny instead of making her blow out? Should have made her fat. Like you put it in, and she's like, boom. She's like a 300-pound, and you can't undo it. She needs to play the rest of the game with her giant.
You just see animations of her trying to go up on a cliff or something, and she's just like, can't do jiggling. It. Can't go.
Can't quite. It's just sweating under her armpits.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of big broads that I've dated that sweat like that, luckily. I think that's kind of a myth, really, that like big broads sweat a lot more. But we have to be more body positive on the show.
It didn't say it was true, Ray. I just said it would have been funny for the game. I was talking about a fiction. A fiction, Ray. Right.
Nothing.
I think the main point we're trying to make is let's not let dudes try to make the decision on what is and isn't a positive role model for a girl.
Yeah.
Let's let women do it. Maybe that's a better call.
Yeah, I honestly, I think, you get even Gina Carano's character in The Mandalorian.
I'm sure Lola Bunny's still a badass. I'm sure she will be.
I'm hoping. I mean, if she sort of all of a sudden turns into like a West Side of Cleveland hipster, then I'm going to be like, I don't need you.
She looks like the friend zone girl. What does she look like? She looks like the best friend.
She kind of looks like, I don't know if you've ever, do you listen to Penn Jillette at all?
I know who he is. I'm well aware of him. I don't listen to his stuff though. No.
I love Penn.
I've seen him on podcasts before, but
yeah. I like one Mark Maron's podcast. He was like, I was getting laid by like the girl wearing the sweater and like the long skirt because she was reading books about sex. The 10s and the chicks that dated like the football players, they knew nothing. It was all about the nerdy girls. And that's true. And I think, honestly, if you really want to play it in a modern day thing, that's how you do Lola Bunny. She's like, frumpy looking, but just she can seduce any guy because she's been reading The Joy of Sex since 5. Like that kind of like that kind of broad would be an amazing role model for this. But like I said, the one thing that troubles me the most is this fucking guy didn't even watch the original Space Jam when it was popular in the 90s.
It's gonna suck, man. I just hope that I have such low expectations for it that I really hope that I'm surprised and it's decent. Like a 2.5 out of 5. A 3 out of 5 would be great. I'd love a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 2 out of 5 I think would be a better thing for this because of the fact that it's just, I don't know. You can never do good sequels ever.
No, right. But the thing is, there's a way this could be done. There's a way. And number one, like the fact that unless it's a surprise, and I hope it is, Wayne Knight is not going to be. And the fact that they didn't cast Wayne Knight is ridiculous to me.
Did they get Bill Murray?
I don't know. I think they just got more basketball players, which is fine. That's cool. But like, there's plenty of basketball players in the first one. But like, Raymond, I don't know. I've been waiting so long, and I hope it was going to be done right, but apparently it's not going to be done right. And they had a perfect guy. They have a perfect lead for it. LeBron James is the perfect lead for it. It has been for a long time. But well, you know what? No matter what, it's not going to take away from the first Space Jam. The first Space Jam is a masterpiece.
One of the best movies. One of
Favorite
the best
line of the
films of all time.
Whole movie. Larry isn't white. He's clear.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
My favorite, and I think we did this when you were having your health issues. What was it, like 5-6 months ago? Mm-hmm. You were going when you
ended up being nothing.
Yeah, it was the I got all kinds of tests, X-rays, EKGs, laser beams.
Laser beam. Yeah. Yeah, it's a affordable movie and it's funny. One joke that I didn't get to as an adult was: are there any other aspects in your life that you find yourself unable to perform? Right, and it's Patrick Ewing like, no.
That's funny. I didn't remember. I have to rewatch Space Jam. I really do. It's been years since I watched it.
Oh, great.
I mean, and also we can all look at R. Kelly now a little bit differently, which is good. Great song at the end.
What's the soundtrack going to be? Because dude, that was a banger soundtrack. I had that CD.
It's gonna have like the SoundCloud rappers of the day, kind of like
Drake. And
no. I hope they go deeper and have like guys like Little Poot or like so Weeze Broke. Those kind of like hip hop artists, and you just look at it and go, "This is alphabet soup."
No, what I would insist on is a current R&B singer or whatever the equivalent of that is now. I don't know if there's real R&B anymore. There's something like that.
There's some
like a Bruno Mars or a Usher or a.
I hope T-Pain. I want T-Pain to sing "I Believe I Can Fly" full auto tune.
Yeah,
just the entire time.
But I Believe I Can Fly has to be on there. Another cover of that, and also there has to be a cover of another Steve Miller Band song. I don't like. They did "Fly with Like an Eagle."
Yeah.
Right? On the first one, so I want like someone to do the Joker or Abracadabra.
And what about?
I want Pharrell to do Abracadabra.
And you have to mention though one of the greatest hip hop songs of the '90s that came from that, which is "Hit 'Em High" with Coolio and what's the Cypress Hill? I actually heard that at Roverfest one year and just lost my fucking mind. I'm like, oh my god, it's the song from Space Jam.
The theme to Space Jam was amazing.
Yeah.
Everybody get up. It's time to jam now. You're the real jam, and now welcome to the Space Jam.
Space Jam.
That soundtrack was great. Like Pump the Jam was on that soundtrack.
Yeah, I think
such a good soundtrack.
I was about to say, I think they just paid Jock Jams for like half of their library.
It was pretty much Jock, but but they also had the R. Kelly tune on there, and they had the I believe it was Seal covered. I Fly Like an Eagle. Yes, I want Seal to cover Abracadabra for this.
And just for some reason throw in "I'm fucking Heidi Klum."
He hasn't been for years.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
they have been separated for a long time.
That's the only person I know that's ever fucked Heidi Klum. So, like,
That's what you think, right? No, I'm probably right. What was
celebrity wise that
did
I
you
know.
see that Andy Samberg, the Lonely Island movie, Pop Star?
No, I have not seen Pop.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
I've heard.
Like Andy Sandberg plays like a fake rapper, and it's funny. But Seal's in it, and Seal's pretty funny. And if you haven't seen it, I can't really tell you without it. It wouldn't make any sense if I told you. So anyway, it's funny. How do you think I got these scars on my face? Wolves, fucking wolves.
I also you can always love Seal because he was the best part of a Joel Schumacher Batman movie.
Okay.
He
was Batman in that movie?
I believe it was the Clooney one.
Okay.
It
doesn't matter.
No, for me it does.
We got to get through these fights.
Yes, we will finish that in a sec, but I need to Kiss from a Rose. It was Kiss from a Rose, which is a great. And that was which movie? You got to look it up here.
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, like most people, I know 2 Seal songs. Well, 3, if you count the cover of Fly Like an Eagle, Kiss from a Rose, and Crazy, which is a great tune.
Crazy was also covered by one of my favorite metal bands.
I knew you were going to bring that up. But you know what, though?
It's a good cover. Honestly,
my favorite song of Mushroom Heads is that cover. I know that makes me not a real Mushroom Heads fan. I'm not.
Crazy.
But I do like some of their stuff. Some of it's a little... Like I like metal, but some of it's just a little too
violent.
Out there. You know, I like a lot of melody, and they don't always do that. You know,
their new stuff is pretty melodic. I actually
because they have that. I mean, geez, they have like 14 people in that band, right? Like, always, like I'd like to go see them if I was guaranteed they play Crazy.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't anymore because Hatrix.
Bummer.
Well, Jeffrey Hatrix is out of the band, and he has his own band called Hatrix now.
Okay.
But like Jeffrey Hatrix is that song because he was like he has that like
sun doesn't rise at all. Okay.
Some kind of eminent. Let's talk about Dominic Cruz.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, Dominic Cruz, man.
So, Dominic Cruz, the biggest shit talker in the game, and doesn't admit it. He runs his mouth in such a way that I love him for it. I don't know why.
Yeah, the only thing I haven't liked is just the Keith Peterson thing that I didn't really lose because Keith Peterson took okay. Dude, you're a champion. Don't be like that, dude. That just bumps. Just look at that picture. It makes me want to slap him for that, man. Come on. Dude, really? Come on, man.
I don't know. Casey Kenny has a pretty kind of slappable face. You look at him and you're like,
it's funny. Like, I don't want either of these guys to win this fight. Like just because Dominic Cruz and also Casey Kenny, we'll talk about it again. Recently on a podcast, he said something he shouldn't have said about Megan Anderson, which to the fact that they did not take him off this card. This happened a month or 2 ago. It would have been so easy to move this fight to any other card, but they didn't do it. So the UFC is like, no, we don't give a fuck.
They didn't move
you can talk shit about. You can take but he didn't talk shit about a woman who's fighting for a title.
Yeah, but he was an abuser.
On the same card. Well, think about we talked about Ray Hardy. I mean, like, if I had to guess, I'd say probably happened, but we don't know. He was alleged, right? So he's technically an innocent man. We know what Casey Kenny did.
Yes,
and he said, it was gross, and he said it, and the UFC didn't do anything about it, man. It bums me out. It makes me feel sad the fact that they wouldn't even give. I mean, listen, this is a prelim fight. Megan Anderson's fighting for a title. And you wouldn't just give her the solid of just putting him on a different card because they're in a bubble, right? So he wouldn't be around. Just put him on a different card. So she didn't have to look that guy in the eye. Now she probably has multiple times. It's a bummer. I don't want either of these guys to win this fight.
No, not at all.
Dominic Cruz has a great style. I would guess I would have likened it to someone trying to probably hit a knuckleball, like trying to hit knuckle. Dominic Cruz, just the way he moves.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, he moves unlike anybody, and he is great. He's selling videos now to teach you how to move Dominic Cruz. But it's tough and it's great, and no one else has been able to do it like him. I think Cruz is going to win a decision.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's my guess. But either way, I mean, I watched the fight. I hope it's better be a good fight, you dicks. All right, like both
dicks.
Dominic Cruz's thing is absolutely forgivable. So was Kenny's. He but it's actually right now I'm just more mad at the UFC for not doing anything about it.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I didn't say cut him. I just said put him on the next card. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right,
she's fighting for a title. And that's a bummer, man. And there's no good excuse. What's the excuse? There's no good excuse for not doing it.
Women suck.
All right, big business, Ray High Class.
Let's do a rapid fire picking for the rest of this card because the prelims start in about 10 minutes.
Man, they probably won't start for at least
according to that's what it says on the website or UFC's website at 5:15.
Yeah. Oh no.
So Song Yong Dong is going to be fighting. What is your pick on this one, sexy boy?
I'm going to pick Song Yong Dong by decision. However, this is an interesting fight because Kyler Phillips has been on a tear, but he hasn't fought anyone anywhere close to the caliber of Song Yong Dong or Yodong Song, depending on which website you look at. And he had to finish his last fight. Phillips did, but he fought a guy who was UFC debut. He was fighting a ranked dude in Song. So I don't know. I think Song is going to be able to beat him. He is the experience by a lot, and he's with those mini steroid monsters over at Alpha Male in Sacramento.
All the needles, every single
all the needles. I can see Phillips winning, but the thing is, this is a big opportunity and a really good matchup for Phillips. Because if he wins, man, he jumps into the top 15 or pretty darn close to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he wins by finish. So this is a great matchup for him. It's kind of a weird matchup though, but apparently they, for as far as Song goes, because he is ranked, and Phillips hasn't really fought anybody real tough yet. But apparently they like this guy, Phillips, so they're gonna give him a tough dude, and Song Yadong. And Song's last fight, he fought Chito Vera, and he won a decision. I didn't think he won, but it was a close fight. He did a good job. But yeah, I'm picking. If you ask me who's going to win this fight, I would tell everybody it's Yadong Song. Boom! It's worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it.
I would just love for him to his last name to be to use Yadong to youth. Oh my God.
Well, I'm happy you did that, so it makes mine sound a lot better. My joke is a whole lot better.
I just needed to uplift.
It wasn't great,
you.
but it's a lot better. Thank you. All right, yeah, but I'm picking Song, but who knows, man? Phillips may be able to surprise us. Hey, if he does, he's the real deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Joseph Benavidez and Askarov. We kind of touched on this in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, because he missed weight. Askarov missed weight. I think this is also going to be a decision. These guys are both really good strikers. It's going to be really fast because it's two little dudes. They're quick. I love Benavidez. I would like him to win. I don't think he's going to win, especially when Askarov missed weight. So I'm picking Askar by decision.
Yeah, I can see that going to decision. I'll pick Askarov as well. I think Megan O'Leary is going to have to give her shoulder up to Joey to at the end of the night, but at the same time,
if he gets beat bad, he may retire.
I mean, there really is no option at this point if you think about it. I mean, he's lost his last couple fights. This is his first fight.
But he'll still be in the top 10 in that division. He's number 2 in that division right now. So as long as he's like top 5 in that division, top 10 even, man, they still want him to fight. So
yeah,
but he may retire.
So hopefully that does come along. Let's talk about Rogerio Bontorin, all right, versus one of my favorite names, Kai Kara France. It kind of sounds like and his nickname is great too. Don't blink. This dude's a savage. I'm not familiar with Bontorin, but I'm definitely excited for this fight.
Well, this is another matchup that on a lot of cards would be a main card fight. This is another ranked guys in the flyweight division, I believe, right? Flyweights.
Yeah, this is flyweights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pick Kai Kara France here, but I don't really know too much about either of them that much.
Kai Kara has fought on some other fight.
I've seen them both fight before, but I just I don't know. Hey, these guys are trying to move up that ladder to get to Figueiredo, so this is a big fight for both of them.
This I will say this too about the and this will show you how much of just awesomeness this card has. Tim Elliott is fighting on the UFC
Early
/ ESPN
prelims.
Plus early prelims. Tim Elliott, awesome fighter, taking on Jordan Espinoza. Both these guys are really good fighters. Espinoza's trying to get into the top 15 on this one. Elliott's coming off a great win, and Espinoza's coming off a loss. So this one will be great at 125 as well. So we're starting off with we're finishing the early prelims with 125, and it's going to be a 125 starting off on ESPN Plus. So what do you think about this?
We have at least one. We have 5 guys in the top 15 on this card for that division, right? So yeah. A lot of good flyweights tonight. Well, if Tim Elliott's able to use his wrestling control Espinoza, he's going to win. If not, he'll probably lose. That's basically it. I like Elliott, so I'll pick Elliott. I'm pulling for Elliott, but Espinoza is kind of on the fence, man. This guy really needs a win, so it should be good. It should be fun. I like Tim Elliott a lot. He's always fun to watch. I never said the words "boring" Tim Elliott fight before.
No, Tim Elliott's one of those guys where it's 4th of July every time he steps in the octagon.
That's why, he loses 3 in a row, and then they give him a new contract. Like that's why people love Tim Elliott, man. He's not fantastic, but he's on the UFC game because people like Tim Elliott. When you see Tim Elliott on a card, you get excited. Yeah. I'm excited.
He's a great mid-card guy for the UFC, and
about an hour or so he'll be fighting. I'm excited for it.
It's going to be a fun one, man. And then let's go down the line. Kennedy, I'm just going to call him Kennedy versus Carlos Olsberg.
This one's interesting because we have a New Zealand kickboxer, I believe, and Olsberg here making his UFC debut at 3-0. And Kennedy has some more experience. However, I'm hearing a lot of really good things about Olsberg. He's a favorite. I'm going to pick him. However, if he doesn't win, it's because he's going to get, I don't know if you're going to call octagon jitters, but out-experienced, I guess, by Kennedy. So, but I'm going to pick Olsberg. I'm going to say that he's just about as good as people are saying he is. Izzy is one of his teammates, Alsania. He's the real deal, so we'll see.
Sean Brady, Jake Matthews. Go!
Sean Brady is undefeated, correct?
Let's bring down the records, and yes, he is.
Yeah, and Jake Matthews is a really tough dude, too. He just beat Diego Sanchez. This is going to be the toughest fight for Sean Brady for sure. Jake Matthews is the real deal, I think. He's real tough. So I'm going to pick Matthews.
Okay. Then Souza taking on Amanda Lemos.
Honestly, I don't know too much about this fight at all. I can't really tell you.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
How about Rosso Medic will be here as well, taking on Alan Cruz. And Alan Cruz, I need to say this, never seen this guy from Adam, but a very pretty motherfucker. He looks like he should be on Brazilian GQ catalogs all the time. I am so into that chin. Look at that chin. That is beautiful. Whoa. That's a granite face right there.
Yeah. Now, granted, these are touched up photos they put up here. But I'm sure he looks just as good as he does in this photo.
Piercing eyes.
Sure. Man, I don't know. We'll see, man. This is one of the first fights, right?
Yes.
Yeah, these last couple fights, I don't really know the fighters too well, but I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
The one coming up is Trevin Jones, right? That first one?
Yes, sir.
And we have Batista. Well, I don't know, man, but let's go watch it, Ray.
Absolutely. I like that. The prelims are about to start for the UFC 259. If I can fucking talk. Jan Blachowicz, Amanda Nunes, and Petr Yan all defending their titles. Starts in about 2 minutes. Watch everything on ESPN Plus and the UFC Fight Pass for the early prelims as well. So enjoy the fights and Tim, you got anything coming up?
No, not really.
Okay.
Just this podcast. Listen to this damn podcast. Because we are the best. I mean, we say it all the time. We're the best podcast in the world.
We are. We're the greatest human beings to ever exist in the MMA sphere. Rogan has nothing on us. We are the future. We are the future. I am Ray Highclack. You can follow me at Ray Highclack. His is at Dig Danko. If I can understand mirroring right now, but I can't. And we are the Bro Plata. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night. Enjoy UFC 259.
And you can tell everybody that this is your song.